Good morning, everyone. I'm Bernadette A. Moises, and for this day, I'm going to discuss about my project in application and emerging technologies. For our first lesson, I'm going to discuss about the workflow, and then later on, I'm going to discuss about the structure and the style. So for now, we're going to discuss about the workflow. So let's start. So for our workflow, in our introduction, developing web apps is a complex task with many moving pieces and interacting components. To learn how to do it, we must break down these components into digestible portions and try to comprehend how they all work together. So for this, we're going to be much deeper in our developing apps. We're going to discuss about what different developing web apps we're going to use. Okay. So for the common tools used for developing web applications are text editor, version control system, and web browser. So um, for this first project or for our first part of our project, we're going to be more focused on our text editor and our web browser. Okay. So for our text editor, the text editor will be your primary tool for interaction. This critical and often underestimated piece of technology is the most significant tool in your toolbox since it is the application that allows you to interface with your code. So later on kasi, we're going to make our own simple website. So in creating our website, we're going to use our text editor. We can use that with our codes and then run it in our web browser. High-end text editors or integrated development environments or IDEs. So we have different types of text editors like Eclipse, Visual Studio Code, and Xcode. So for these three, we're going to focus only on one, which is our Visual Studio Code or our Visual Studio. We're going to use this app in our codes and creating our website later on. So next, of course, once we're done with our structure in our text editor, of course, we want to see uh, the output of our codes that we put in our text editor. That's why we need our browser. So the web browser is the final tool we will use on a regular basis. When developing web-based apps, it's important to use the software as a developer tool rather than a window into the web. So we use a web browser to see how our codes work, or if our codes successfully run, and we can see the changes, or if you want to change something, we can see it on our web browser. So that's it for now. Later on, we're going to be much deeper on it, little by little, if so that we can on our part two we can create our own website. Okay, so that's it for now. Thank you. Okay, welcome back to our lesson. So for today, we're going to continue our topic. Earlier we discussed about the workflow, which is about the text editors and, excuse me, the web browser. So for today, or moving on to that, we're going to discuss about the structure. Okay, so for the structure, we're going to use a one language that we're going to use in our website in creating it, and so on. HTML, or the hypertext markup language, is a text-based method for expressing how material within an HTML file is arranged. This markup instructs a web browser how to display text, images, and other types of multimedia on a web page. So this language, we're going to use this as a structure of our creating our website. Okay. HTML structure. HTML defines the structure of a web page. HTML is made up of a set of elements, and HTML components instruct the browser how to display the content. So these are the structure that we're going to use in creating our website. So it's very easy to remember, right? Okay. Next, tags. HTML tags are terms on a web page that specify how your web browser should format and display the content. Almost all tags have two parts, an opening and closing tag. So for this, if you see this, these are the tags that what we're talking about. Okay, so we have the HTML, which is the opening tag, and HTML here, which is the closing tag, and then the head, title, body, and body. So if you observe, there's only one difference in the closing and the opening tag. So for the opening tags, we only have the symbol less than and greater than symbol right here. But if we're going to close it, we add the slash here. Okay, so that's how the opening and closing tag works. P. P is for paragraph. The paragraph tag organizes content into paragraphs. Okay, so if we're going to input a longer sentences or essays in our or definitions in our website, we can use the P element or the P tag in our website. Okay. Comments. An HTML comment starts with the star slash and then ends with slash and then the star. HTML comments are available to anyone viewing the page source code, but they are not rendered by a browser. So, for example, if you want to put something on your um, codes, but you don't want the viewers to see that in your website, you can use the comment tags, okay? So that's why if the users see your website, they can see the other other things that you put into your code if you use the comment tags. Okay. Headings. HTML specifies 6 levels of headers. A header element includes all font changes, paragraph breaks before and after, and any white space required to display the heading. The heading elements are H1, H2, H3, H4, H5, and H6. H1 being the highest or most important, and H6 being the lowest. So, excuse me. So for the H1, if we're going to put in our body tags, we're going to put an H1 on it. The H1 includes the bolder type or the much bigger font than the H6. We're going to see more of that once we discuss or once you see the tutorial that I'm going to do later on. Anchors. The A HTML element or anchor element with its href attribute generates a hyperlink to web pages, files, email addresses, locations on the same page, or any other URL address, the content of which should indicate the link's destination. So it's simple as that. If we're going to put an email address or the files that we want, uh, so that if for example if you want to put a background on your website, you can use the href attribute or you can use the a or the anchor elements. Next, lists. HTML lists are used to define lists of information. All lists may have one or more list elements. HTML lists are classified into three types: ordered or numbered lists, unordered lists, and bulleted lists. So of course we have a list in our website. If we're going to put enumeration, uh, for example, if we're going to do this and then we're going to put some list on it, you can use the HTML lists. But we're not going to do that in our website later on. So that's it for now. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you on our next lesson. Okay, so welcome back to our part one of our project. So earlier we discussed about the workflow and the structure. So moving on from that, now we're going to proceed on the style. Of course, once we're done with the structure, of course, we want our website to be more lively for our viewers to like it more. So we're going to style it in our own way. Okay, now let's go. CSS. CSS is an acronym for Cascading Style Sheets. CSS is a computer language for designing and structuring web pages like HTML or XML. This language incorporates coding elements and is made up of cascading style sheets or CSS files. Okay, so for our structure earlier, we used our HTML or the hypertext markup language. So for this, since we're going to style it, we're going to use a different language, which is our CSS or the cascading style sheet. Okay? A rule or a rule set is a declaration that instructs browser on how to render specific components on an HTML page. A rule set begins with a selector and ends with a declaration block. So for the rule sets, it's different from the structure in a HTML. In a rule set, we have different structures. We use for this cascading style sheets, we use a rule set like a star, a point, or a bracket, and ends it with a semicolon. Okay. Setting colors. So of course, if we want our website to be more colorful, we want to put some colors on it. So HTML color allows you to add color to your web content, making it more visually appealing and communicative. It is defined by a set of codes that instruct browser how to display a given view. These codes come in a variety of formats, including HEX codes, RGB values, HLL values, and even established color names. So we have different variety of formats in setting colors in our website. So to be less more complicated, I'm only going to use the color names in our website later on. Okay, comments. A CSS comment is used to include explanatory remarks in the code or to prohibit the browser from understanding certain sections of the style sheets. So it's the same as the structure in the HTML, right? So it's the same format on how we're going to use the comments. Okay, and then that's it for now. We're going to be go much deeper on it in creating our website or later on this video. So see you on that part 2. Thank you.